and welcome to Child Depression Services. We're so happy to have you today and welcome to our team. I'm Dana. I'm one of the coordinators for the Bullying Advocacy Program.
I'm Jose. I'm the after-school program coordinator.
I'm Christian. I'm one of the counselors.
I'm Allisa. I'm one of the counselors. CDS was founded August 12, 2003 in Fredonia, New York. We're currently providing services to approximately 50 individuals. Individuals may voluntarily enroll in our program or they may be referred to us through other social services. We have 2 main programs right now and 1 program pending.
So some of these programs Jose's going to talk about.
Our 3 programs that we have are individualized counseling. It helps reduce symptoms with a personal confidant. We also have my program, which is the after-school program, encourages child to participate and increase their attentiveness, discourages destructive behavior, substance use, self-harm, etc. We also are pending with a bully advocacy program, which will increase the self-worth and self-esteem, also would encourage self-advocacy.
And now today what we're going to be teaching you is a little bit about counseling, and hopefully you get a lot from this video.
Some of the issues that might come up during counseling are some of the symptoms of depression, maybe anxiety, or they're not eating well or eating too much. Some children might be experiencing bullying or having the problem with people who are insensitive to their diagnosis because they are unaware of what their diagnosis actually means. They might have low self-esteem and what is considered normal teen behavior. They could be undiagnosed because it's they think it's normal behavior.
So we're going to come up with some of the strategies that might work during counseling. Oftentimes with counseling we use questionnaires and surveys, and that's typical for most diagnoses, even with adults. Also, reading stories with your kids might help. They might relate to some of the characters in the stories. And then we're going to talk about 2 different types of therapy, art therapy and play therapy. And we're going to demonstrate how 2 of those work. So this is Christian. He's a 7-year-old boy who suffers from depression. So what are you drawing, Christian?
I got beat up at school today.
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear about that. What happened?
Andrew, he beat me up because I had a unibrow and he didn't like it, so him and a couple people got together and they just ganged up on me. They thought I was funny looking. So yeah, I got beat up. It wasn't cool.
So art therapy can be helpful because it helps a child demonstrate what happened to them instead of actually having to come up with the words on their own. They can use their illustrations to show exactly what happened during the day. Now, Jose and Allisa are going to demonstrate something called play therapy.
So Jose, how are you feeling today? Can you point to one of these? And why do you feel sad?
Because I lost my dog yesterday,
You did?
and my parents yelled at me
Did they? And how do you feel about that?
really bad.
See, this is a smile chart we can use at Child Depression Services for kids to express how they feel through a smile chart.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts of counseling. And Christian's going to start with the don'ts.
Hi everybody. And some of the don'ts of counseling are basically
don't be condescending of their age. We have a big variety of kids that come in with different age groups from very young to into their teenage years. Do not engage in conflicts of interest. Just try to stay focused on the child and what they're going through. Don't use physical reinforcement. You don't have to touch them unless they come to you for a hug. You tell the individual, you don't want to tell the individual what they need to do. You always want to just veer the conversation in a way where you're providing ideas and influential things for them to think about. Don't place any blame or judgment. They already become depressed because they feel sometimes that that situations at home might be their fault, or whatever they're going through is their fault. We also don't want you to jump into conclusions. We don't know exactly what's always going on in the child's life, and that's what causes us to come to conclusions at some point. We don't want to do that. And don't unload too much information at a time. We have to recognize that they're children and they don't know a lot of the terminology that's going on. So we don't want to unload too much at a time. Thank you.
And I will talk about some of the do's of counseling. You want to use active listening and empathy. You want to make sure you're listening to what the child is actually saying, and like Christian said, do not jump to conclusions. You want to use simple terms that the child will understand. Using words that are too big and complicated, they might be confused by what you're saying. Our team always wants to abide by the NASW Code of Ethics. We want to act as professionals here. It's also important to maintain confidentiality with their records and with our individuals. We want to make sure that they are able to trust us and have an active relationship with us. Also, it's important to follow their individualized service plan to make sure they're completing goals, and if they have any medications that they want to take or that they're taking, that they are taking them. Also, encourage the individual to make their own decisions. We want to encourage them to do the activities that they like doing. Also, be aware of the child's cognitive development. We want to know their exact diagnosis, what they're all going through. They each have their own issues going on, and we want to make sure their plans are individualized. Also, use interactive exercises to help a child express their feelings or tell a story, like we demonstrated with play and art therapy.